Welcome to A Word in Season, weekly devotion from the Office of the Chaplain of Bennett College. This is one of our new virtual segments for the year. When Life Gives You Lemons, Part 1. As an adult, this time of year leads me to reflect on my childhood church's annual event. Each year, the church planned a picnic at Hagenstone Park, approximately 11 miles from our home in Greensboro. The church often reserved a shelter near an open field to accommodate the intergenerational baseball game that brought out the child and the aspiring professional in the players. We also had the opportunity to ride paddle boats, feed ducks along the shore, and walk the trails. Some members took a contemplative approach while we were in the park and indulged in a bit of fishing. As much fun as these activities were, they in no way compared to the feast spread before us. Our church had some excellent cooks, and the picnic featured dishes that the Food Network would love to boast. At least one saint brought the ingredients and churned ice cream during the outing, adding vine-ripened strawberries and sun-kissed peaches to a delicious mixture of cream, sugar, and vanilla extract. Free-flowing, fresh-squeezed lemonade also accompanied the meal. The tart sweetness lingered on my tongue. The coolness refreshed my throat and my body on its way to my tummy. This taste had a simple recipe, simply lemons, water, and sugar. But please note, the key to making good lemonade is in the process. Creating this thirst-quenching drink requires preparation. Our mother taught us to wash the lemons in hot water before rolling them out on the counter. In addition to the pressure, the water's warmth helped the fruit release its oil and juice. The preparation didn't damage the fruit, but the process was necessary for the final product to be useful and appealing. Such is our human condition. Paul said, "We are pressed on every side by troubles, but we are not crushed. We are perplexed, but we are not driven to despair. We are hunted down, but we are never abandoned by God. We are knocked down, but we are not destroyed. Through suffering, our bodies continue to share in the death of Jesus so that the life of Jesus may also be seen in our bodies." We are confident of this. God uses lemons of disappointment to generate hope. Challenge and change cultivate progress. God allows trials to produce tenacity. The fruit is sour, yet the process and the product are sweet. In context, Paul's reassuring words are a message of anti-fragility in times of distress and grief. Suffering sweetened Paul's ministry, allowing him a perspective missing from those who lack the experiences only pain, setback, and grace can minister. Through every situation, God transformed Paul's sourness into sweetness beyond Paul's understanding. Throughout his journey, God's strength kept Paul's anger from festering into sin. God's grace, purpose, and power made lemons into lemonade. Let's face it, we live in lemon groves, making us susceptible to hardships, frustration, and regrets. Every generation discerns and voices the choice to grow and thrive within systems of adversity and situations requiring adjustments. They express their ability and willingness to take the lemons given and make lemonade. In Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, Joseph said to his brothers who sold him into slavery, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." We are familiar with that famous line that says, "Life for me ain't been no crystal stair" in Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Rapper, artist, and also actor Tupac Shakur asked the question, "Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete?" More recently, Beyoncé released a visual album whose offerings included themes of love, betrayal, anger, and forgiveness. The final chapter, Redemption, discusses her grandmother's recipe for lemonade, which is the compilation's name. Her grandmother stated, "I was served lemons, but made lemonade." This example set the tone of anti-fragility in the life of this daughter, businesswoman, wife, and mother. Beyoncé spun the lemons in her life and made something that was stronger and better and ultimately sweeter. If each of us looks back over our lives within our family history and throughout Bennett's story, we also see patterns of resilience, resistance, resourcefulness, and perseverance. We see examples of men and women using lemons to make lemonade. But isn't that what God's power enables us to do? God takes the shortcomings of daily existence and makes all things beautiful in its time. Black women are particularly familiar with this recipe. Candace Bimbo, Rutgers University lecturer and author of the Lemonade syllabus, wrote, "Lemonade calls us to move towards the lemonade itself. It requires that Black women live into their flourishing. Moving towards lemonade calls us to focus on the thriving more than the circumstances that oppose it. When Black women live into lemonade, they are choosing a joy that refuses to be diminished by the violence that will continue to persist against it." Through Lemonade, Beyoncé calls young Black women to reimagine their relationships in intimate and social spaces through constructing a relationship with God that makes self-love primary. Their mothers brought them to the faith. Now it must become their own. As we begin the fall semester virtually, we choose to take the lemons of the COVID pandemic and make lemonade that can quench the thirst for creating a better life through education. Bennett remains committed to working in the best interest of our community, which means putting safety first. We miss our physical community and will remain connected spiritually and socially. Like my mother's recipe, lemons needed heat and pressure to release their essence. These necessary conditions are not favorable, and the process does not damage the fruit. The process resulted in sweet, tart, satisfying lemonade. So we pray for positive outcomes during our semester. The necessary hot water of being away from the campus can be intense. You may experience pressure in your attempts to integrate the various facets of your home, studies, and other responsibilities as you reach towards God's definition of success for you. Remember, we are here to support your journey. We are here to encourage you as we encourage ourselves to take the lemons of this season and make sweet, refreshing, memorable lemonade. Stay prayerful and careful. Rev.